two opposing forces which cannot be explained, but exist. Just as where there is wealth, greed will follow. Time has not yet changed
Opposition
this
opens
concept.
up thinking it's going to be a remake of Brokeback Mountain or something like that, but then you realize rather than a love story, it's a history of conflicts. It's a history of standoffs. It takes us from the cowboy time to the modern time of what happens when good meets evil.
This one does some pretty cool things. The effects are kind of cool, interesting to look at. The entire film is narrated by a sort of disembodied voice who's kind of lecturing us in an interesting way about time, the constants of time, and how that's always changing, and fate and destiny. And it's a lot to absorb kind of when you're watching it. It's one of those films you maybe want to watch it twice to get a full grasp of everything, because again, the visuals are interesting, the narration's interesting, and it can be a kind of overwhelming maybe at sometimes. But that being said, that makes it all the more worth checking out.
I really like this one. The whole movie really expresses how good and bad are always existing. So there's dark always versus light.
I think it was Mr. John's chance to kind of showcase some of his philosophy, some good prose, his concepts around karma and destiny and time and the law of opposites attract, and using kind of like cliche good guy bad guy visuals to give us a background so that we could focus on the prose that was being voiced over in the background. Cinematography was it's not really my forte, but my daughter was watching it with me and she said that she really liked the cinematography, especially around the opening and closing credits. And so I think that was a highlight in the way that the movie was made. And yeah, it was a fun little watch, and I watched it twice just to try to get a bit better idea of what that philosophy was going on with the prose in the background. And yeah, it was fun.
Well, the cinematography, the wardrobe, locations, everything were on point. It was fantastic to deliver the point they needed. I felt like the voiceover, the narrator, who reminded me of Keith David, was what had a great sound. I personally feel that there was a lot of exposition that did not need to be there. I understand the story and the concept is something very hard to cover in 4 minutes. I feel though that just with the visuals alone, even with the evil triumphing over good at the end of the film, was even strong enough to put the point over that there's always the law and the good, the bad. I felt like it was excellent, well shot. You don't see a lot of people using so many full shots like that anymore. I was very impressed with the cinematography. For a U.S. directed or produced or made film, I feel like it had a very French or Italian touch to it at certain points. Very, very well done.
The setting was dark, but the lighting in each scene was just, and the narrator's voice was hypnotizing as well. So these three elements came together to tell a story where crime and justice continue to eclipse one another. And the finale left me feeling uneasy, like a hint that our villains will eventually succeed. There's no place for good in this world. It was unnerving. Creative, but unnerving.
Great choice for the narrator's voice. I liked how we would switch from one era to the next. I think they were relatively well represented. The costumes looked great, and the locations, even though they were quite simple, they worked out too.
The narrator, wonderful. He has that movie voice, right? Fantastic. Great period work, though. The costuming is awesome, and it doesn't look too contrived. And the extra build on the pistols in the future, very interesting. The graphics pretty cool. Considering a short, low-budget film, awesome. Well done.
The lighting was very cool and done very well. I liked the moon, and I liked the way that was incorporated with the overall through line of the short. And I liked the sound effects in the beginning. The like Foley work and some of the audio in the very beginning was very cool when he's like stepping out of the house onto the step and he's playing with the coins. Like all of that felt really cool, and it drew me in and made me like want to care more about
really like the setup and the payoff on the opposition. I love that the camera became an assistant in a sense to the voiceover. It helped guide the viewer through the process. Just a really nicely done piece.